Hello everyone, Rich Cavaness here. Welcome to Power to Thrive, richcavaness.com. I've got a great video for you today. There's only one way for you to eliminate anger, bitterness, and resentment from your life. And I'm going to teach you what the F word really means. Stay tuned. Just please remember to subscribe and be part of our team so that we can continue to give you great content and help you to improve your life. Hopefully you're finding great value from this YouTube channel. I'm just really appreciative of you and I thank you for being here. And remember, we always start our videos out with the key platform for Power to Thrive. That is 2 Timothy 1:7, that God has not given you the spirit of fear, but power, love, and a sound mind. Today is going to rock your world. For some of you, this may be the very video that's going to change your world this year. I don't know that to be true, but I really believe it. I think there's going to be some of you that are going to have a revelation when you watch this. So we're going to talk today about there's only one way to eliminate anger, bitterness, and resentment from your life. You know, so many of you are living in what I call the rear view mirror of life. And so I just really want to encourage you to, it's okay to acknowledge your past, but it's very important that you don't stay stuck there. It's very important that you don't live there. It's very important that you don't let that define who you are. I certainly have made choices and decisions in my life that have led to some very unfortunate circumstances. And you know what? I can't beat myself up over that. I can't dwell on that. I can't live in the guilt and the shame because that's not going to allow me to be the person that God created me to be. All right? So it's very important for you to not live in the rearview mirror of life, but keep looking out that front window. Let the past be a lesson. Use it as a stepping stone, right? So that you can elevate yourself from it, not be crushed by it. Forgiveness is really a process intended to allow a person to move through the negative emotions and release them so that they can live in a state of love, acceptance, and a positive mental attitude. And this is really our natural state of being as God intended it to be for us, from which joy and creativity and abundance can flow. And I'm just here to tell you today that you have to let go of the past to embrace the future. Say that with me again. You have to let go of the past to embrace the future, all right? You're going to have to release the anger, the bitterness, and the resentment to be able to be an effective giver of yourself to others and to receive the blessings that others want to give to you. Matter of fact, in Matthew chapter 18 in the Bible, it says, "Then Peter came to Jesus and said, 'Lord, how often shall my brother sin against me and that I forgive him?'" Okay, so literally Peter's asking, if somebody does something to me over and over, how many times do I forgive them? Okay, and then Jesus says, or then he responds, Peter says this to Jesus, he says, up to 7 times, right? And then Jesus said to him, "I do not say to you up to 7 times, but up to 70 times 7. Okay, so 490 times versus 7 times. So the point is this. Forgiveness is part of God's plan for you, for me, for all of us to be able to live together on this planet. We can't hold grudges. We can't be angry. We can't allow bitterness and resentment to rule our lives. So it's very important that we allow what I call the Christian F word, which is forgiveness, right? Forgiveness needs to be to the rule of our lives. Anger makes you smaller, while forgiveness forces you to grow beyond what you are. I like what Nelson Mandela says. And for those of you who maybe don't know who Nelson Mandela is, he was a civil rights leader in Africa, was put in jail for many years. He was speaking out against apartheid and just the whole race issue, the whites and the blacks and everything that was going on there for many years. Anyway, he was put in jail. And he says some very interesting things about forgiveness. He said, "Resentment is like drinking poison and then hoping that it will kill your enemies." Okay, think about that, right? Here you are resentful and anger towards someone else, and you're thinking, I can't stand that person, I hate them, and I'm so angry at them, and yet it is actually affecting you. They don't even know what's going on probably 9 times out of 10, and here you are all angry, right? I remember one time when I was doing some coaching, I had a person that I was helping through some really interesting past issues. But what was interesting is they had some father issues, and their father had been dead for 20 years. And like today, they were struggling with it. And I'm like, okay, so let me see if I get this straight. Somebody from the grave who died 20 years ago still has emotional control over you. And when I said it just like that, they started to cry. And they were like, wow, I hadn't put it together like that. And I said, that's exactly what's happening. And that's what happens when you don't practice forgiveness. The person or the circumstance actually has emotional control over you. Nelson Mandela also said this: as I walked out of the door towards the gate that would lead to my freedom, this is when he was released from prison, I knew that if I didn't leave my anger and my bitterness and hatred behind, I'd still be in prison. Think about that. So he acknowledged that he was leaving a physical prison, but if he let the bitterness and hatred behind, that he would still be in a prison. That's a very, very powerful concept, right? So let's talk a little bit about forgiveness here, okay? I want to make it simple, and I want to keep it very, very easy for you to understand. So forgiveness really is just breaking that emotional bond that someone or something has over you, and you're just saying that I'm not going to allow that to happen anymore. Remember, forgiveness is for you. It's not for the offended, or not for the offender, excuse me. It's for the offended. It's for you. And so it's very important that you understand that forgiveness is for you. That's why in the Bible it's preached so strongly by the Lord that if you expect God to forgive us, in which I really want God to forgive me, obviously, I want him to forgive you too. Obviously, forgiveness is important. We don't want to walk around knowing that God doesn't forgive us. He does forgive us, right? And the key is that if we don't forgive others, then how can we actually accept or even freely want God's forgiveness for us? So it works both ways, right? And remember, forgiving is not forgetting. It's not that you're going to ever forget what either happened to you or what someone did to you. It's just that you're not going to allow that to become a priority or control you anymore. You got to move on. You got to learn from it and accept responsibility for whatever part you may have played in it, okay? But whatever that might be, you have to be able to move on, all right? You have to be able to forgive. As I mentioned, forgiveness is for you, and it's very important for you to be able to be the person God created you to be, that you exercise forgiveness towards others. And you know, the hardest person to forgive is always yourself, right? Forgiving yourself is not easy. I've been there. I know a lot about that. And so it's very important, though, for you to grow as a person. Eventually, you do need to be able to forgive yourself for maybe some of the decisions that you've made, people that you've hurt, things that you've done, all of those kind of things. Eventually, you have to move on from that and then start. It's like wiping the slate clean and then moving into a new walk with God, right? If you don't forgive someone, are you empowering them? Think about that. I'm asking you the question. If you don't forgive someone, are you empowering them? And the answer is yes. They are the ones that have control. It's literally like like a puppet, right? The person that is the one that did the offending, they're literally jerking your chain. They're the ones controlling you. But as soon as you forgive and you release that emotional control, now you're the one. And that's how you gain personal power in your life. That's one of the key aspects of having personal power, is being able to forgive. And you know, you need to understand that unforgiveness blocks love. If you truly want to be able to love as Jesus loved, Jesus commands us. He says that we are to love one another as Christ has loved us. So for us to love one another, we have to practice forgiveness, right? You know, I know that there's probably been things that's been done to you, things that have been said to you that are hurtful, painful. It's just, even when you think about it, it just brings up really raw things. But the bottom line is that for you to grow and to be the person that God created you to be, you have to exercise forgiveness. So what I want to do right now is I want to walk you through the process of how to kind of process anger and bitterness and resentment, all right? I'm going to walk you through very quickly here, steps to forgiveness. Number one, I want you to, and this would be good to write down. Go ahead and get a piece of paper out and a pen, write this down. Steps to forgiveness. Here we go. Number one, identify the offender and the offense. So I want you to clearly write out the name of the person or the thing that's offended you and what that offense was. Just write that out very clearly. Number two, I want you to kind of recreate the pain. This is very important in releasing that emotional control. So you're going to recreate the pain of all that, how that affected you, okay? Number 3, then you're going to choose to forgive. All right. And one of the things when I talk about recreating the pain, literally what I want you to be thinking about is because of that offense, what did it cost you? What did you lose? What did you not get? Like I've had people before that literally one of their parents left. They had to basically become that parent for them. So let's just say the father left. The son then filled in and became the dad and grew up very angry that they didn't have a childhood. They felt like they never got to be able to be a kid. So they were just angry at their dad for leaving because they didn't get to experience what it meant to be a child and have a healthy, normal childhood. So you need to create that pain and state very clearly, what did you lose? What was taken from you? How did that impact you? All of those kind of things. Just recreate that pain again. And then number 3, choose to forgive. Make a decision. Remember, you're a free moral agent. One of the greatest gifts God's given you is the ability to choose and make decisions. Accept responsibility for your life now. You're an adult or however old you may be watching this. Just accept that responsibility and it's time to move on. So choose to forgive. And then go through the process. Just say the name of the offenses again. Just say the names. Or say what they are. And how you were offended, and then say the words, I forgive. Now, you do not have to be in front of this person. As a matter of fact, 9 times out of 10, it's probably not a good idea to be in their presence, okay? Because if it happened a long time ago, they may not even know or may even care anymore, so it would not go well. But, if you can look in a mirror, maybe you can do something with your spouse where they can help you walk through this as well. Or a trained psychologist, trained counselor, coach, whatever it may be. But just make sure you walk through those offenses and then say the words, I forgive you for. I forgive you for. And then just say, I forgive you. If you've ever seen the movie The Shack, very powerful movie in regards to a man who had his daughter murdered, little girl murdered. And you can see him struggling all of this time with anger, bitterness, and resentment, and how it's impacting his family and everybody, and his relationship with God for sure. And then when he has an encounter with God, one of the scenes is that he has to forgive the person who did this to his daughter. And it's an incredible dialogue, but basically God says to him, hey, until you release that control and take a step off of their throat, you're never going to be able to be free. And so it's really important for you to understand that forgiveness is for you and that it's going to actually give you freedom, right? Forgiveness isn't always easy, but it will set you free from fear and being a victim and allowing someone or something else to control your life, right? And so you will become what you want to attract in your life and be the kind of person that you want to be surround yourself with. If you're angry, bitter, and resentful all the time and just really negative, that's what you're going to get more of in your life. So forgiveness is the tool, I believe, to your freedom. 2 Corinthians 5:17 says, therefore, if anyone is in Christ, he's a new creation. The old has passed away. Behold, all things have become new. And oftentimes, I've been in ministry for many years. You walk someone through giving their life to Christ, and they basically ask the Lord to forgive them for their sins, right? And I'm asking you today, forgive who has ever trespassed or done harm to you. Don't hold on to it. Don't let that be your life. That's not who you are. Let it go. Clean slate. Be a new creature in Jesus Christ. I hope you found incredible value with this. I'd love to hear in the comments how this is impacting your life, and maybe you've walked through this process of forgiveness. I'm sure other people watching the video would love to hear your experience as well. All right, you can go to richcavaness.com. You can go to powertothrive.net, get some more resources there, help you with coaching and just growing and developing yourself. And I hope that you have a great day today. And again, we're going to finish with God's not giving you the spirit of fear, but of power and love and a sound mind. That's for you today to walk in, embrace it, know that that's what God has for you. Have a great day.